In today's reading vlog, we are going to be swapping my phone screen time for reading, and maybe my screen time is more or less than yours, to each their own. So I'm only getting 6 hours and 6 minutes in this week. If I do more, then great. I can't do less though. I cannot do less than 6 hours. So I'm going to time myself and make sure that I am reading more than I am on my phone. So to start off this whole reading vlog, I'm reading like a super anticipated read for me. I have been waiting to read this book for so long. It is none other than Divine Rivals. Every time I talk about a book, I feel like I say the same stuff over and over, like guys. I'm currently on chapter 3 of this book, so I haven't really gotten that far into it. But when I tell you, I read the prologue the other day, it had me by the throat, okay? I was like, let's talk about Divine Rivals and what it's even about. But remember, this reading vlog is not gonna have any spoilers. No spoilers here. When two young rival journalists find love through a magical connection, they must face the depths of hell. That sounds very dramatic. My first question is always, how are they rivals? Like, why are they rivals? How and why, you know? It says, after centuries of sleep, the gods are warring again. Okay, I'm hooked. But 18-year-old Iris Winnow just wants to hold her family together. Her mother is suffering from addiction and her brother is missing from the front lines. My heart. But anyway, her best bet is to win the columnist promotion at the Oath Gazette. So like, she's a journalist. To combat her worries, Iris writes letters to her brother and slips them beneath her wardrobe door, where they vanish. So this is magical, girl. This is getting magical. They vanish into the hands of Roman Kit, her cold and handsome rival at the paper. Okay, they both work at the same paper. So like, you can kind of imagine how they would be rivals, right? If you know anything about journalism. So when he anonymously writes Iris back, the two of them forge a connection. But when you say anonymously, like, does she not know that it's from him? I guess that's what you mean by anonymous. When he anonymously writes Iris back, the two of them forge a connection that will follow Iris all the way to the front lines of battle. For her brother, the fate of mankind, and for love. I'm in love with that. Divine Rivals is an epic enemies to lovers fantasy novel filled with hope and heartbreak and unparalleled power of love. I'm in love. The prologue had me hooked just because of like the scene, like the way this author set up the scene. I feel like I was there at the train station getting ready to say bye to my brother. Like, I really felt like I was there. Like, it was raining. He gave her his trench coat. He was sad. She was sad. And like, I am hooked. So many people have been telling me to read Divine Rivals. They've been commenting like, have you read it? You should read it. I can't wait for you to read it. And I can't wait for me to read it. Like, I'm so excited. So I feel like this would be the perfect novel to fit into my screen swapping time, because I actually want to read this book. It's not going to be a chore for me to read, because I also love to read. So I feel like this is a perfect trade-off. Get off your phone and read Divine Rivals. Why don't you? Okay, I'm gonna read as much as possible for today, but the goal is 6 hours and 6 minutes. Okay, so let's get it. And get some fruit. I'm trying to eat better, guys. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not the healthiest eater, so I'm trying to change literally everything. So I'm snacking on grapes and water. So guys, I love this book. I am so in love. I can't even lie. I can't not lie. Just like the scenery, like the way that this author writes and sets up the scene, I am here for it. Like 100% here for that. It's just such an entertaining story as well. So right now I'm on the part where, oh my god, my heart's racing just thinking about it. I love the magic, the fantasy I play. She's writing letters to her brother. Her brother went to the war, okay? And this war ends up being like a big deal because the gods are at war, girl. And I'm like, they're explaining basically the myths behind the gods and the goddesses and all this stuff. She's been writing letters to her brother for a while because he went to the war and blah, blah, blah. She said she would. Then one day she gets a letter back from the wardrobe. The first sentence is like, I'm not even gonna tell you. You have to read the book. I don't want to spoil it for you. Then it jumps to Roman's perspective, and you know I love when the author gives everyone a voice. So now I jump from Iris's perspective, and now I'm in Roman's perspective, and I just love that because it makes me understand everything so much more. I understand Iris because I get to see how she's thinking. I understand Roman because I get to see how he's thinking. And then they have this underlying plot that is happening. The gods are at war. Her brother went to war, okay? And then there's the other plot where like they're at this paper, they're rivals. There's this like subsection where like they're writing letters. Iris is writing letters. She doesn't even know who she's writing letters to yet. We know because of the synopsis that Roman is the one receiving her letters and he's writing back to her anonymously. We know this because of the synopsis. This is not a spoiler. But what is so fun is to see Roman's perspective as he writes her back. I love that. And you learn more about Roman because from the synopsis, it's all about Iris. But then you get to see his perspective and you see what he's going through. And you're just like, this is brilliant. Like, this is incredible. And guys, I'm not even that far into the book. And let's talk about the cover. Okay? I was not expecting that. I just love. Anyway, I'm currently on chapter 8. I'm on page 62. And there are 353 pages in this book. So that's cool. I'm down 1 hour. So I have 5 hours and 6 minutes left to go, so that's cool. And let's get back to reading. This guy, Roman, I am in love. I am in love with him. I am in love with him. He is everything I want in a man. He is so thoughtful. He is so cute. Like, oh my God. No, girl, you have it all wrong. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Boss up. Yes, ma'am. My heart, like, whoa. It's time for an update. Guys, I feel like I start every update like, guys. But no, for real, guys, it's time to talk for real. I have been reading for a total of 2 hours and 40 minutes out of this 6 hour and 6 minute vlog. Let's talk about Divine Rivals. First of all, did I talk about how much I love this cover? Maybe I have, but guys, I love this cover. I love how it says, Dear Iris. It's just so creative. I don't know, I just love that. I'm currently on page 119 out of 353. So that's cool. I'm on part 2 now of the book. Oh my god, the way part 1 ended had me like, yes ma'am, boss up lady, boss girl. I love her. Like I want to say I love her again. I love her. She started off like just in her head a lot. Like everything she was doing and everything she was saying was just like so in her head. But then out of nowhere, she like went through something that's very, very tragic. You have to read to figure this out. First of all, I think you should read this book. Like I love this book and I'm only on page 100 and whatever. I'm so captivated by this story. It is so good so far. Let me tell you everything that I know with no spoilers, right? No spoilers. Here's what I know. Iris was at the Oath Gazette, and remember, she and Roman, they're rivals. They're like literally competing against each other. So they're like literally actually rivals. I love that part. Like divine rivals. Let's actually be rivals. Why don't we? You know? So like that's cool. Things are starting to change a little bit because as we know about enemies to lovers, there's something that happens that like sparks a change, right? But for this one, I feel like it is so like unorthodox. Like the reason why they're like connecting is just so intimate. It is just so intimate. It's not like what you would expect. It's not like what you would think. It's so unorthodox, and I love that. So we know from the synopsis that like Iris writes letters for her brother Forrest, and like they disappear in her wardrobe or whatever. Like we know this from the synopsis, and we also know from the synopsis that her rival is actually the one picking up her letters and reading them. And for a long time, he was just reading them. She kept going in a loop of like what are happening to the letters and like why hasn't he responded. But then you jump to Roman's perspective. He's like, another letter came through, and like he immediately knew it was Iris sending the letters because of what she was writing in the letters, kind of revealing who she was or who she is, you know? That is so crazy because imagine writing heartfelt letters to your brother, and then the person who you are seeing every single day as a rival who you're literally competing against at work, you literally run into them every day. They are looking at you from a different perspective because they're looking at you like, that's my competitor, but also I've been reading her letters. You know what I'm saying? Like that is a whole different mindset shift, a whole different vibe. Very unique, you know? It's not normal. Like obviously this is not normal, but it just makes you think of like he knows more than he's letting on. So anyway, something tragic happened in Iris's life, and like the only person that kind of like caught on that something was going on was her rival. Once he like started reading her letters and they became more like a little bit intimate because he finally responded to one of her letters, but he didn't reveal who he was. Now she's just thinking like, okay, someone is reading them, someone is responding, I have no idea who they are, but the whole time it's her rival. So it's just like one thing, there's like slight humor in this book when they're talking about the characters because he goes by Roman C. Kit. That's how he like signs his papers or whatever. Every time she's like angry at him or whatever, she like puts another name for like C, like, you know, she says Roman conceited Kit or Roman condescending Kit or Roman something Kit, you know, but it's Roman C. Kit. She just like makes up his middle name and it's always something that's like condescending. I love that personally. In the synopsis it says that when her competitor writes back, this connection follows her all the way to the battle lines or whatever, which is like, what do you mean follow her to the battle lines? Like the battlefield, like what are you talking about? Read the book, guys. What do you mean it follows her to the front lines of battle? Isn't she just a writer? So guys, you have to read. Like this is so cool. So like I'm just like, what do you mean he follows her? Because as of right now, he's not following her. As of right now, that is not what's happening. I also saw a review, someone that I follow, someone was like, the beginning is boring, but then once you get past certain parts, it like picks up and blah, 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 blah. In my opinion, I don't really think the beginning is boring. I believe that like it's slow, okay? But I think it's like obviously building up to something because even though it's kind of like slow, I think personally that like it's making you become more connected to the characters. It's like showing you Roman kids and then showing you Iris separately. Like she jumps to Roman's perspective, so you get to see what he's like when he goes home and he leaves the Oath Gazette. And I think the whole beginning of the book, like part 1, is literally like building the story around the characters, letting us know what is going on in Roman's life, why is he this way, and what's going on in Iris's life, why she is this way. That can get boring, I guess, but I wasn't bored personally because I just think it's really fascinating. Like, wait, what is going on in her life? Like, wait, Roman's dad is like, what? He cares about, wait, what happened to Roman? You know, like this makes you kind of understand him more and understand why he's this way, you know. And just like Roman Kit and Iris Winnow are like completely, like they are like polar opposites. Now that we're in part 2 of the book, things are definitely picking up, you know. Like now we're about to dive into like the nitty-gritty of the adventure and like everything. At the moment, I love the book. I am raving about it. Like I kind of constantly want to read, but I have to stop and pause because I need to do other things tonight. Literally, I came home, went for a walk, ate dinner, and then I started reading. So like I said in my other vlog, all I do is read and work and eat, you know. So I'm gonna try to like do something else for a second. So anyway, let me stop rambling. Let's get back to this reading vlog. Have about 2 more hours left. I let myself like relax more this week. I didn't like frantically read. I'm coming off from like some days off of work, so like getting back into the routine of going back to work slowed everything down. Like everything has changed since going back to work. I thought I would be done with the challenge by now, but I'm not. So I had 2 hours left and I'm currently on page 192. I love this book. I knew I was gonna love it from the beginning, from the prologue. Like I knew I was gonna love it. I love the cozy vibes that it's giving me. I love the story. I love Rebecca Ross's writing. Every chapter I find like several quotes that I jot down and keep in my notes because I'm like, I love that quote, and I just keep rereading it because it is just so unique. And one thing I'm loving about this story is that like as the reader, we all know something that Iris doesn't know. And even the synopsis told us, so like we all know, but Iris doesn't know who she's writing to. We talked about this, how like she has a typewriter and she's writing letters to her rival. We know it's her rival. The rival knows that they're rivals. Everyone knows except Iris. And I'm just every time I'm just like eating it up because she's like, I wonder who this is. And then the person she's writing to, we know him, we love him. I love Roman Kit, okay? He is my dude. But what I don't love is that he hasn't told her who he is yet. So I'm like, when is the big reveal gonna happen? How is she going to find out that it's actually been Roman this whole time? I'm like, this is just so great. I feel like there are several things going on which keeps me intrigued like every second. It gives us Roman's perspective, which I love when authors do that, you know this. And then it jumps to Iris's perspective, like what she's going through and what's happening. I just cannot wait for the shoe to drop. But I don't know how Iris is gonna take knowing that it's Roman that has been writing her these letters and like what's gonna happen from there, and like the war that's brewing at the same time, like the thing that's going on in the world around them, which is another plot thing. It's like there's a war between gods brewing and it's getting like scarier and scarier and closer to them, and it's just like like everything is just like building and building and building. So I'm currently like on this part where it's just like building in my heart. I just can't take it. Sometimes I have to like pause and just like pause and go, wow. Follow me on Goodreads if you haven't already. It's a really good vibe. It's a good community. So if you're not on Goodreads, you should get on it. I'm currently cooking food and my oven is about to go off like the alarm. So I'm gonna go and finish cooking dinner. But I just wanted to give you an update on like what is going on, where I'm at, and basically what I know. I just can't wait to see what happens. I want to get to the end of this book. I have 2 hours left. So let's continue on.
Acho que gostem. Se aceitar, viu?
Oh wait, sorry. There was a B. I've definitely surpassed my swap in my screen time for reading time. I'm way past 6 hours of reading. I just needed to pause because like I have 13 more pages and I'm like, my heart is just... So I'm about to quickly finish this and then. A moment of silence for the end of this book. My heart, I feel like crying. I actually want to cry, but I'm not going to. But I really want to. The ending. I need book 2 now, please. Thank you. Thank you.